Okay, let's go.
Have you ever just wished you knew what was really going on in someone's head? I mean, to really understand the story they're telling you, even when they're not saying a single word? Well, today, we're diving deep into the science of that unspoken language, and I'm going to show you how you can start to decode it for yourself.
So let's just jump right in. What if you could walk into any room, any meeting, any conversation, and just instantly get a sense of things? Who feels confident? Who might be holding something back? Or who's genuinely on the same page as you? It sounds like some kind of superpower, doesn't it?
But here's the thing. This isn't about magic or reading minds. It's a skill. It's grounded in decades of real behavioral science and psychology. And the best part? It's a skill that you can absolutely start learning right now. Okay, so where do we even start? We start with the hidden language of human behavior. Because long before anyone says a word, their body has already started the conversation. And this is why it's so incredibly important. Research consistently shows that over 60%, more than half of all our communication is nonverbal. The gestures, the posture, those tiny little shifts, that's where the real story is often being told. The number one concept you have to understand to read anyone is their baseline. Just think of it as their personal normal. It's how they act, how they talk, and how they hold themselves when they're just relaxed and comfortable. This is your anchor, your starting point for everything else. And this really illustrates the whole game right here. See, you're not looking for a single tell. What you're watching for is a deviation from that baseline, a shift from their calm, normal state to a state of stress. That change signals that something's going on internally. It doesn't automatically mean they're lying, but it for sure means their emotional weather has changed. All right, so now that we know to look for those shifts away from the baseline, where exactly do we look? Well, we can break down these silent signals into three main channels: what we see in the face, what the body's doing, and what we hear in the voice. Let's start with the face, because it's pretty much the ultimate truth teller. A psychologist named Dr. Paul Ekman did this amazing pioneering work where he identified these 7 universal emotions. Things like happiness, sadness, anger. The wild part is, no matter where you go in the world, these expressions are basically hardwired into our DNA. They look the same on everyone. Now here's where it gets really fascinating. Let's talk about microexpressions. These things are lightning-fast flashes of genuine emotion. We're talking less than a fraction of a second. They happen before our conscious brain can even react to stop them, so they literally leak the truth, even when we're trying our best to hide it. Next up, let's look at body language. Now, this little cheat sheet is a great place to start, but you have to remember the golden rule. Look for clusters of signals, not just one single cue. I mean, someone crossing their arms might just be cold, right? But what if their arms are crossed and their feet are pointing toward the door and they're leaning away from you? Okay, see, that's a cluster. And that cluster is telling a much clearer story. And finally, we've got to listen not just to what people are saying, but how they're saying it. It's like the music behind the words. Psychologists call this paralanguage. It's all those vocal cues that aren't words but are just packed with meaning. A sudden rise in pitch, a weirdly long pause after a simple question. These are huge vocal signs that something has shifted emotionally. Okay, so we've learned how to observe. Now let's level up and move into interpretation. And we're going to focus on one of the most interesting areas of all this: spotting deception. So you might be wondering, why do we even have tells in the first place? It all comes down to something called cognitive dissonance. Here's the deal. Lying is hard work for the brain. It has to invent a story, suppress the truth, and watch your reaction all at the same time. That mental juggling act creates stress, and that stress, well, it leaks out in our physical behavior. And these are some of the most common ways that stress leaks out. You want to watch for a disconnect, like someone saying yes while they're subtly shaking their head no, or listen for distancing language. Instead of saying, "I didn't do it," they might say, "that thing wasn't done." They're trying to subconsciously remove themselves from what happened. But, and this is probably the most important part of our entire explainer, this skill is not just about becoming a human lie detector. Honestly, that's a pretty shallow use of a really powerful tool. The real, life-changing goal is to make a pivot, to go from cold analysis to warm connection. This quote says it all. The point isn't to judge people or stick labels on them. It's about gaining awareness so you can understand them on a deeper level. Maybe you can even understand what they need from you in that moment, and that allows you to connect with them so much more authentically. And a huge part of that is context. You always have to read the room before you try to read the person. Behavior doesn't just happen in a vacuum.
Someone might seem tense, but is it because they're hiding something from you, or is it because their boss just walked in? Situational awareness stops you from making massive mistakes.
Ultimately, what we're really building here is emotional intelligence. EQ is that bridge that takes simple observation and transforms it into real empathy, trust, and genuine human connection. It's the so what of reading people.
So how do we wrap all this up and become a master reader? Well, the goal is to become a mirror for other people, reflecting their own reality back to them with understanding, not to wear some kind of analytical mask.
And this right here is the ultimate purpose. Think about it. In a world where most people are distracted, half listening, scrolling on their phones, the greatest gift you can give another person is your full, undivided attention, to make them feel truly seen and heard, not just scan for clues.
And here's exactly how you do it. You practice noticing things without judging them. You try to tune into their emotional state. You remember the little things they tell you. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is just listen, offering your presence instead of trying to solve their problem. These are the things that build unshakable trust.
So, let's end on this thought. The point of all this isn't to become an expert analyst of human behavior. It's to become an expert at truly seeing the people in your life. So, with that in mind, I want you to ask yourself, who will you pay closer, more careful attention to starting today?